Okay, November 2nd, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Roll call.
Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
Mayor Richardson,
Yes.
Ms. Williams. Present. Mr. Moultrie.
Here.
Mr. Camry.
Hello.
And Ms. Glass.
Here.
Thank
We will have our invocation by Ms. Councilmember Henry, and the pledge of allegiance will follow.
Lord, we gather tonight with grateful hearts for what you have given and done for us. We ask that we would be worthy of your blessings, and if you would please guide our hearts, and let us do what we need to do tonight for the betterment of the city and to bring glory to your name. Forgive our sins that we may serve you better. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amendments and approval of agenda.
Madam Mayor, staff has no amendments this evening unless the council does.
Approval of agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021.
Second. It has been properly motioned and second. Clerk can call for the vote.
Ms. Glass.
Yes.
Mr. Camry.
Yes.
Mr. Moultrie.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
And Mayor Richardson.
Yes. Awards, presentation, and appearances.
We have none this evening.
Can we get a motion for the consent items?
A motion that the consent items, be approved.
I second it.
Has been properly motioned and second. Madam Clerk, you can call for the vote.
Yes, ma'am.
On the second one, the budget amendment, that one should, you should receive public input if there is any on that item.
Okay. But he has instructed that we should receive public input, if there be any, on budget amendment number 1 for 2020-2021 for unanticipated grant revenues and expenditures.
And Madam Mayor, members of the council, I guess you all read that. Public hadn't had an opportunity, but at the end of the year, closing out our last year's physical budget, there are unanticipated revenues that you receive from grant funds. So that is a requirement to true up our budget for last year at the end of the year. And it's something we'll do every year if there's changes in the budget, and those were due specifically to grant revenue.
But it probably doesn't have an effect on the budget numbers, it's just where the money is being drawn from, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir. You recognize the grant revenue to the extent of grant expenditures, and so that has a zero effect. Any additional grant monies that, and most of our grants are on a reimbursement purpose, so those items, although they zeroed out on the income statement, they will be listed as assets or due from state on the fund balance, balance sheet, as due from state, those two amounts.
Right on this side have any input right on this side. Okay. Madam Clerk, you can call for the vote.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Glass.
Yes.
Mr. Camry.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Moultrie.
Yes.
And Mayor Richardson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Items pulled for discussion.
There were none, you passed the consent agenda.
Citizens requesting to be heard on non-agenda items. We have Mr. James Travis, 32 Water Street. Mr. Travis, you may come forward.
I want to know, we're planning the event down at Taylor Field, and I just want to make sure that it's all right with the council before I do it.
What kind of event you talking about, Mr. Travis?
Something like a community day, we use, none and Mr. Robert Bradwell. And then
Now, what day?
on the third Sunday in this month.
And what time?
Well, the event started at 3 o'clock, but we'll be there a whole lot earlier than that.
From 3 to what?
Probably 6 or 7, something like that.
What is all the event gonna entail, I mean?
Oh, we're gonna be going just playing softball and ornament and that's all.
Oh,
So it is a sport, you will be playing ball.
Well, that will be the children, the youth, or adults?
Look,
Adults.
We have that field, you know, is under, agreement with Florida State Hospital, just for sporting events, so if you're playing ball and have people watching it all, it can be fine.
well, we had one.
we had a good this year, and everything went all right. But I don't want us, come there Friday before then we get shut down at the last minute like we did that other year.
Will that be an admission fee?
Huh?
Admission fee?
No.
And I think in the future, what we need to start doing, like what Mr. Travis doing, maybe kind of get a program of what you're doing and present it to the manager. And then that way, you know, we already kind of have it. You know what I'm saying? And that then there won't be no questions about what we're doing and all that kind of stuff. And so if you think of anything that you plan on doing, Mr. Travis, just get with the manager and he'll already have all the details of rules or anything like that, and you already know.
Okay.
We'd like to coordinate with the recreation director. Can I get your phone?
850-544-8204.
Thank you.
And one other request, can y'all guarantee us that the field will be in playing condition?
Well,
Well, the reason I ask you that, because last time that we had to get somebody from the state to come down there, good.
yeah.
And so,
I'll get with the, rec director and see. I know we did some work on the clay part not too long ago, so maybe it's not too bad, but the grass, just cutting of the grass,
you know, we just want the grass
We-
cutting,
yeah,
and moving out.
we can take care of the grass.
Okay, that's all we want to clean up. And on outside too, where they gonna be parking at too, out there, in the parking lot.
But like, Councilman said, in the future, you just get with us, that way maybe the guys, you know, will have more time to do things if there's maintenance needed. Our guys that have to do the work.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Mr. Manager, did you need any action by the council on the routine items?
Typically, we don't for the rec department,
Okay.
that's their prerogative, if they want to.
Does he need to clear with the hospital, or will you do that?
That's why I got the phone number, I'll make sure everything is lined up appropriately.
Any other citizens wishing to be heard on non-agenda items? Public hearing.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, you have one public hearing tonight, dealing with your electric rates. And I'll defer to the city attorney.
Resolution 2021-08 by title is a resolution of the city of Chattahoochee, Florida City Council extending the electric energy base rates established by City Code Section 59-41, Section 59-42, and Section 59-43, and amended by Resolution number 2018-07 and Resolution number 2019-2. This is extending the date to September 30, 2023. So this is that periodic 2-year extension of those rates that you deal with every 2 years.
And the rates are not changing, that's right, Robert, we're just extending the.
No change in the rates. That ordinance just, you know, is expiring. It used to be a 1 year, and the last time we did it for 2, which I think is more convenient. And we're doing it for 2, again, at the same exact rate.
Can I get a motion? Okay.
I would make a motion that we approve resolution 2018-08, be continue with the city's electric rate.
Second. Okay, properly motion in second. Anybody on this side have any comment, input? None. Okay. For, call for the vote, is there no more discussion?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Glass,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Moultrie,
Yes.
and Mayor Richardson.
Yes.
You ready, Madam Mayor?
Oh, I'm so sorry, yes.
Well, I mean, for me, yes.
General business.
Okay. First item on the general business this evening is item 10A. This agenda item is dealing with the American Rescue Plan, funding that, we are receiving from the federal government. As you know, Chattahoochee was designated to receive 1.6 million. The first year is 800,000, the following year is 800,000. We still don't, as I mentioned to you before, they still don't have the final rules, because we were one of the smaller cities under 50,000, we have to go under different rules, all cities under 50,000. There are some proposed rules, the city clerk and I have been going, over those, waiting for the final rule, which was supposed to be the middle of August, the federal government still doesn't have it. But what we've done tonight in preparing this agenda item for you, because I just don't wanna wait a year to get into this, and have the last minute on the council trying to decide, what you wanna do. But, and I won't read the whole thing, I'm sure you have, but there are some criteria that the funds can be used for. Again, we don't have the final rule, but if you okay tonight, we have went through the I guess they're proposed rules, right? Interim final rule, and, identified 4 projects that we think fit the criteria, that would be eligible, and things that the city obviously needs will be good for the city, but we want the council to tell us what you wanna do. I don't wanna go off, because there'll be a lot of preparation and research to prepare, a project, any one of these projects, to bring back to you for a vote. And so tonight, you may pick 2 of them you like, you may say, prepare all 4, if you're interested in all 4. I just didn't want to think that these were the only things you could look at, or, have my staff, spend a lot of time on something this council wasn't interested in. So the 4 that we have proposed, we think will be eligible. We won't have any problem getting them funded or in audit or anything. And these are things that there's been, discussion among the council since I've been here, of things you're interested in. So if this doesn't approve them tonight, but it tells, you're instructing staff, go do your homework, prepare the numbers, be it whatever you gotta do, and then bring them back individually to the council for a vote. So we're just not wasting anybody's time. The first one, of course, is one we've been talking about, is those water meters, those smart meters for the water system. In the, act, water and sewer projects were deemed eligible, specifically in low-income areas. So that is one that I think is a very smart decision for us, because it will obviously, by replacing all the meters at one time, it won't create a physical strain on the city, number one, and number 2, it will enhance your revenue somewhat going forward.
Will it cover Rosedale as well? I get this.
That's, don't wait to see what y'all do tonight. We've been in contact with Rosedale and their attorney, but if you tell us to proceed, then we're really gonna have to get in writing answers. We're gonna have to deal with that issue.
Okay.
But we have had discussions, they're aware of it. We know we're gonna have to find out if the city can use those funds if they're eligible on that system. But if y'all wanna proceed with that, we'll be finding out.
One of the questions be the availability to use funds for that because it's not in the city limits?
No, sir.
Because it's a private
It's
system.
a private company, and the rest of the act funds are specifically for governmental entities. It may be possible, and I'm stressing may be possible, that we could send a request to the federal government, to the people in charge of this, and say, we provide water services for this private water system. Can we give them a grant to upgrade their system as well, or provide smart meters for them, or whatever? We decide at that point.
We're the operator of that system.
How many meters are in the Roselle system?
I don't know.
200?
No.
Half that?
Yeah. It's something like, maybe 80.
I wanna say,
But we also may have to look, if we do it, we're gonna have to find a way to do it right. And again, we've had these discussions with the gentleman running that pro. You know, we may have to make it all right, they may be a $2 charge on those bills or something to make it all legal.
and
But we'll figure out a way.
in my opinion, we won't be able to do it until that contract's brought up to date.
Which-
Without a firm current agreement, I don't think we can do much of anything at all.
But that is being done as we speak. They have retained an attorney, and the contract is being updated to bring to you to approve, so we could deal, which you need to do it anyway, but, that contract's 40 years old.
Yeah.
So, that's in the works right now. So we're gonna get that one solved, and then we'll deal with the meter, if you want staff to move forward with this. The other one was, revenue loss replacement. There's, no number, there's some gray areas there between me and the city clerk, but, there's a formula, they devised a formula, but you have to put your entire city budget in there. So if you generate a revenue in one area, they're counting against you in another area. But there's a lot going on with that right now, and I think the final rule will allow us to capture some of these funds for, say, specific things, like you lost revenue in the RV park. We had expenses due to COVID, things of that nature. You know, we're gonna do it right, whatever their final rule is, but whether it's $200 or $200,000, I want the city to be able to capture any monies out of this grant to replace any general fund revenue you lost. And,
We have great lawyers and Michael Gettis. Can you?
the only thing eligible is starting this past March, moving forward.
Okay.
Because that's to be something you lost this March moving forward. And again, with the final rule, and if we have to use the formula that they currently have out there, we will, and we won't capture much. There's gonna be a change to that formula.
Okay.
Everybody don't know that yet, but there's gonna be a change to how the recapture is done. So I think it's wise that we replace whatever lost revenue it is, if it's $1,000 or 200,000. I think it's a good.
Is that whatever area we lost revenue in, whether it be the RV park or?
It's entity wide, their formulas.
Right now it is. It's gonna be changed, so we just want the flexibility, when they get a final rule, we need to recapture. I mean, we have some personnel expenses that were due to COVID.
Right.
There are things due to COVID that I would like the authority to recapture.
Suppliers,
And again, it will come back to you in a final thing with columns with the dollar amounts, once we know.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Mayor. So basically, this amount of funds would be kind of earmarked for that. How long can it sit? So if we got just a ballpark, we get 50,000 out of it. If we set that for loss, it get being carried over for more than 1 year, it get a time limit on it.
There is a time limit, but if we identified that, I think it would be appropriate, we could, once we determine that, we approve, that we could transfer those dollars
Okay.
from where it's at now into general fund or revenue. It becomes replacement.
Yeah, that's what I wanted, was if it, making sure that if we got this amount and we're not gonna lose, you know what I'm
We're not
saying?
gonna, yeah, we're not, no, sir, we're not gonna lose any money. We'll stick to that. The other one, is one that a lot of people have been doing, I'm sure you've heard about it, the essential workers compensation. The governor actually did it for some law enforcement and firemen earlier, and with the state's COVID money. I think we ought to take a look at that. Now, in our situation with the utilities and all, just about everybody was an essential worker. You know, there was hardly anybody spared dealing with the public and all, and since it is allowable, you might wanna look at that, because if you're using those dollars, you're not using general revenue dollars.
I think Quincy did something like that. I don't know if it's the same.
I know the county did,
Yeah,
County
yeah,
did.
that was the county
and
did.
I know that Quincy may have as well, but I know the county did.
Yeah, county.
But, again, there's no number in mind or anything, but just right now tonight, I want direction from the council, what do you want us to work on? But these are ideas throughout there that we think we could do that would be beneficial to the city. And in this case, thank our employees, for working through, you know, we didn't shut down like a lot of places.
Right.
You know, speaking of the county, we were shut down several times, the entire county, I mean, the city never did that, which we can't afford to do that, we have utilities, we have things to do. If that's something y'all interested in, that'd be one we'll work on.
These four look very, promising,
Right.
but if we come up with something else, there's nothing to say that we can't add to this list. if
No,
we think
sir.
of something else.
As long as it's eligible under the act.
Oh,
Yeah, we have to go by the rules they have,
They
yeah.
have specific categories.
The fourth one? The fourth one is the digital information sign that's been discussed in here several times. Remember the school board came, the school superintendent,
Yes.
informational sign, I think we qualify, and, you know, again, if it's an idea, if I don't see nobody shaking their head no, then we can look into it, get the pricing, you know, check the rules and all that, but it would be, as the school board said, we would be able to use it if there was a resurgence of COVID, or what if we'd have had it the first time? Think what we could have, testing sites, you know, we could have put information out there. So I think that's why it's an allowable expense, those type of informational signs.
And like when we have Second Harvest coming, that could run across the sign.
Yeah, we have to have an agreement with the school board,
Uh-huh.
but the specifics of that agreement would be, you would have as much say as they would. So it's whatever y'all,
If you have the agreement with the school, any event that we're having in the city,
I'm sure they wouldn't, I know the principal wouldn't, and from what I heard from our school board member that night and superintendent, I just couldn't foresee a problem.
right, Final Friday, all of those things that's happening in the city, would be a good idea to be able to do that.
Yes, ma'am. So,
And I know the school board has expressed that, and the principal just walked in as well. But,
okay. So again, we don't wanna waste our time working on something y'all are not interested in. I've heard you discuss your interest in this, so if it's agreeable, then staff could start, working on the specifics of these four, or if you pick two, or you have another one and we have five. It's your discretion, we just, we wanna get instruction, what you want us to do, cause I'm ready to start working on it.
Well, me personally, smart meters have been at the top of my list since day one, because we're so behind and everybody else is using smart meters. Everything has went smart, but, so we need to go smart. And then we can capture some lost revenue also, because some of our water meters are 50 and 60 years old. I know my water meter is really old, and we're losing revenue, so, yeah, so the bills are gonna true up. Some people are gonna be upset because your bills are gonna really true up from, because you're losing water.
Well, at some point, the water management district is going to make us replace the meters, whether it was smart or what we have now, because we measure that water where it comes out of the ground with a very good meter, so we know what we pump. Okay, you go by our billing information, we have to report this to the state every month, what we metered out and sold, so there's a huge gap in there. And this past year reporting we did, we came that close to the threshold of not being in compliance with our permit. You can only lose so much water, and when we replace these meters, then those two numbers will get back closer together, because all these dragging meters.
I also have to work with.
Yeah.
Looking at smart meter, that would help them a whole lot out there walking
Oh,
with
yeah.
paper and.
They can actually do what they need to do.
Yeah, they could be out there working, doing something better.
And we won't have some rereach, you know, because there's always a few mistakes reading meters, which because there's a lot of them to read, and each house has three, or most of them have three different meters you gotta read, so, you know, there are some numbers halfway dialed, or whatever, and we have to go back. And sometimes it makes it all the way through, and the bill gets printed with a mistake. So it cures a lot of problems, and your sewer rates based off your water.
Really, I think all four of these, we can benefit from.
Well, and maybe even, I guess, once y'all do the research, you may be able to look at a couple of them and say, well, we can do this one all the way and this one partial. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, so we'll have to
You know.
get good information before we come back.
Right.
It may change it out.
Sound good? Okay. Well, we shall proceed, and you'll still have another opportunity, because they will be brought back to you as an action item individually, where you can, you know, ask questions or talk specifics once you see the information.
So we actually need to get a motion on this.
For motion to approve the city manager to obtain costs for the above four items in reference to this grant.
Can I get a second? Anybody on this side have any input they would like to? Anybody on this side? All right, then, Madam Clerk.
Let me ask one question. Robert, this is just for the water meters, this is not for the gas or the electric.
No, sir, only thing that qualifies under recovery funds is water and sewer, no electric or gas.
All right, Ms. Bass,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Ma'am.
Mr. Moulton,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Richardson.
Yes.
Thank you, yeah, we'll move forward on that. Okay, item, 10B, last item on the general business tonight is seeking council approval to, purchase a new jetter for the sewer, department. You budgeted it, we included it in this year's budget. This is our biggest capital purchase. We have to replace a 2001, jetter that we can't even get parts for anymore. So just bringing that up to speed, and after looking at it, you know, it's included, I think we budgeted 40 or 50, but, price not what we want. We are asking the council to do a 3-year agreement, through the company, through NCL Government Capital, and then that way, it will only be $29,754 per year on a 3-year deal, instead of shelling out the whole price 1 year.
If it carries up, is it under warranty or?
There is a warranty.
It is.
So when you put it in there, that you can't find parts for the one that we have now, it almost forces you to have to get another one.
It's been tough, and,
It's been a good one, though, we got it for 20 years.
Mhm.
been a very, very good one. My
It's
opinion.
used regular.
Yes, it is, and we don't need to get in that bind with a stop-up sewer line. We've been praying this past year, and, we've made it. If we make 2 more months to get this one in, if you so approve it, we'd like to get it here.
And you think this is more cost efficient doing the lease than just purchase it? Or is it lease?
Yeah, the terms are very good on it, and then we get to pay, you know, we don't have to break the bank in 1 year, we pay on it 3 years, and we'll do the budget, we budget another $30,000 next year to pay on the jetter.
And you did say a warranty comes with this, so if anything
Oh, yes,
goes
ma'am.
wrong.
That's right. It's a brand new machine, it's fully warranted, and, this one has a diesel motor, so it should last a lot longer than a gasoline motor.
And this is for a 3-year period, am I correct?
Well, now this one here, we're purchasing it, so
Okay.
it's different than some things like the, grabber trucks that go back,
Mhm.
because this is something we can obviously keep for 20 years. It's a capital item that you would keep long-term, so this is not a go back and get a new one, this is a lease purchase that we will keep the machine. So basically just finance it.
Okay.
Is that warranted for 3 years, well, how's that warranted?
I'm not sure on that, now, I would not tell you wrong. It's a document,
Yeah, I can't read
it wouldn't be in the lease, it would be in.
No, it won't be in your lease.
No, sir, I can't.
Warranty is unconnected to the agreement. Warranty would be for
Yeah,
manufacturer.
that would be from the quote sheet, but,
Well, not for Linda.
I don't have that for you, but I'm sure it's, with that engine, it may be 5 years or so many hours, like a vehicle,
Yeah,
but I was gonna tell you
I
incorrect.
would check that out, even if we needed to do an extended one, if one is available.
Mr. Miller, have you looked at everything that's good on the contract?
Yeah, I never favor y'all doing lease purchases because of some technical issues. But, yes. Is your answer. I don't have to render them any opinions, so.
Robert, you pretty sure that they're gonna hold up to the agreement if something happens to them?
Yes, sir, we feel very good, and, Joe spec'd it out, we getting a machine that has the available options on it that fits what we do with it, with our, lift stations and stopped up sewer lines. Yes, sir, I don't think there'll be any problem with this machine.
They're gonna deliver, we don't have to go get it.
No, sir, it'll be delivered, yeah, and I can I'll get the answer on the warranty for you, but, yeah, they're very excited about it, because the 2001 model you have, the city bought used. So, I just don't know, where it was before, how many hours it had on it. This will be a new machine, so I think it will serve the city a long time.
I'm gonna ask you a question on this lease option. Is there a way that you may be able to purchase before the lease is up? Can you do that? Is that?
Well, I'm sure you could. I didn't go through the contract specifically looking for a early payout, but with most anyone, I'm sure you could if you decided to do that. Yeah, I first tried to figure out a way to buy it with the, recovery funds, but, that didn't work. Well, always looking.
So I'd offer a motion that we approve for city deputy to get the NCL, the jetter for the sewer department. To, approve on the, lease agreement for the 3-year time frame.
I second it.
It's been properly motion and second. Or anybody on this side have any input? Anybody on this side?
In the last 20 years that you know of, how many times do we have to use both of them? The current one?
How many times we use the jetter?
Yeah.
Oh, every week. Sammy? I know in the last 3 years how many times we used. I can't speak for
A lot of times they'll use it, I don't know, it's probably the same way. They get creative with some of the uses. It's not necessarily on a sewer line, it may be on a drain under a driveway where the water's stopped or
correct.
something like that. I mean, because it's got the ability to do that as well. Instead of having to stand there with shovels and rakes and trying to dig it all out.
And the Florida State Hospital has relied on your cheddar for their problems for years. I'm assuming, I know the last 3 years, when they haven't, they've had to use it, they don't have one, so, I think it's a good idea that they purchase our used one, but we don't have that worked out yet, so I might be back with you with a disposal of the old one,
That would be nice.
because they don't have anything.
And if they tear ours up, not gonna fix it.
Correct.
You can make sure the new one working good for you.
You should have let them buy the new one and borrow it there.
Well, that wouldn't work with the state of Florida.
Mr. Manager, I know we doing this vote, and I'm sure it'll go through, but can you make sure, tomorrow, look good at that warrant?
Yes, sir, I will. Yeah, I apologize for not knowing it, I just didn't specifically look for that. I let the water department spec out what they wanted, and then we, got prices.
Ms. Glass?
Yes.
Mr. Emery? Ms. Williams?
Yeah.
Mr. Moultrie?
Yes.
And Mayor Richardson?
Yes. City manager.
I do have a few items tonight, so I apologize. Bear with me. The first one is, I hated to hear it, but I fully understand it, but Chief Crawford submitted his letter of resignation from the fire department. You know, he's been there 40 years. He's been chief, since 1990. Isn't that correct, Sammy? He started in 1977.
Yeah, but it's on
That's right.
chief for.
But he started dispatching in 1990, so he's actually eligible for your firefighter retirement fund that the city has. He might be the last one, but anyway, he's been talking about it, you know, for several years. He's got a lot going on, but he's like me, he's getting older. So he's still going to participate and volunteer with the department. He just would like to get rid of some of the responsibilities. But lucky for us, we have a very competent assistant fire chief, and I would like to promote the assistant fire chief to the fire chief position. That happens to be Mr. Shammy here, who I had come tonight, so you could ask him some very tough questions if you like, or just tell me you would like us to look farther for a chief.
Reverend Samuel Hood.
I think Sammy will be a great chief. I think he'll be a great chief. He's dedicated. I mean, like I said, there's been volunteer all this time until recently, just give him enough to pay for some gas. And he's always there and never complains. So I'm 100% behind that.
That was my line of thinking with this. What I would like to do, if the council doesn't have any problem with that, effective.
Since I've been here, I always seen him leading the charge with, always there.
We can always count on him.
Yeah.
Now, Chief said, but it will become effective December 31st. Probably last day, and, I would like to give him a little something.
Yeah, we need to do something. 40 years for free. Much Pretty good.
Congratulations, Sammy. I hope everything goes well as you expect it to do, that you'll be able to put in your excellence. Were you all out there on I-10 this morning?
No, ma'am, whereabouts?
Right below the Chattahoochee exit, there was it was more near the Greensboro exit. There was a semi-tractor trailer, and I thought sure that was.
Well, Miss Ann, we've been having a little trouble with the dispatching at Gadsden County. I don't know if it's because they're having so much turnover with dispatchers and not understanding. We spoke with Andre yesterday, Andre Walker, the fire coordinator over there. He was at dispatch yesterday. He was supposed to be trying to get this stuff worked out, so they'll page out the right department for the right area. So I didn't hear anything about the fire on Interstate this morning. I do know we participated in the plane crash Sunday. We're trying to get all that straightened out with it.
There's been some the dispatch, which we don't control, but out of Quincy, there's been things over in our area, and police chief is aware of this as well, and they dispatch Midway or Mount Pleasant too. And the scary part about that's all well and fine, more the better, but if you pull the trucks from over there, God forbid something happened, our trucks is in the bay, Mount Pleasant's on I-10, and somebody have trouble, heart attack in Mount Pleasant, or they have to get on fire. That's why you have zones for response.
Yeah, we have
It's like the ambulance service.
Same thing, but when you have dispatchers that, a lot of turnover, not a lot of experience, I mean, they have to learn, I guess, to look to, and, they just lost another one over there, very good one.
I know y'all know our fire department's kind of down right now, with volunteers showing up. We have a few on the roster. I'm gonna try to work on that, see if I can get some volunteers. Get a little more people start showing up and helping. We got 4 now that we can really depend on, and we need more than that. So if y'all got any ideas on volunteers, y'all send them my way, please.
Now, what kind of training do they have to have, Sammy?
Well,
Can we provide it like here at the city, or?
we do have money in the budget for schooling. We have
Technically, they
on
should
there-
have firefighter one,
You have to be,
but that takes a while to do that.
yeah,
The chief can have volunteer, like myself, I could go volunteer, he just can't allow me in the hot
yeah,
zone.
you can't be
I
in the
can't go
hot
in the
zone.
structure,
Yeah.
but I can run the truck, I can spray water, I can roll a hose,
You
so
just can't
any
be in the
volunteer.
hot zone.
You just can't go in without prop training.
The firefighter one is pretty much what they require.
And can't you get that online, some of that online?
Yes, ma'am, I think they do have some
Yeah.
online classes now. Some of the stuff is school, and you have to go like the burn building and stuff like
If I
that.
could take the state test.
Yes, ma'am. Ocala, the Florida State Fire College, puts on a volunteer thing. Niceville College there, Fire College there, puts on some things.
What about Chipola?
Chipola is a paid class, but Niceville and Ocala, they do a volunteer fire thing for, it don't cost the city anything but us, our time going there. Ocala put us up in a room, there, so we didn't have to buy a room. Niceville, we had to get a motel. It was supposed to be some, not a grant, but I can't think of the name of it, but it was, they were supposed to take care of, but it ended up falling through, and the city had to take care of the motel room at that time. They do have classes that don't cost anything.
Scholarship.
Scholarship, thank you, sir.
And how old do you have to be a volunteer firefighter? Their age?
The insurance, whatever our insurance requires, it's gonna be.
I was thinking 18, but
I'm sure it probably is, I've never seen it,
21. That's why I was just saying, because if people on Facebook hear it, maybe they can.
I've never seen an age limit, but you know it would be
There is,
18.
I think it's 18.
Someone that might be interested.
Yeah.
I'm looking, I'm on the hunt, I've already hinted at one. Oh, he's done left out of here. He took off from me.
You got too hot for him.
That's right. And we got Mordecai here, he's willing to help us when he can, and,
Yeah, we had public safety in Midway, so
Yeah.
that's, firefighters, a lot of calls.
Yeah,
about that.
about that.
And you know, I've been on the call myself. We're blessed here because with Sammy and Johnny during the day, we have some of the best coverage. And that's one of the things the county figured out. I mean, Chattahoochee provides some of the best coverage of all the departments except for Quincy. As far as how quick we can get there, because from 8 to 5, they're right here. Somebody's in a truck, in or out, and then with the way we do the on-call dispatch, we have firemen in the station. So our response time is very good.
right now I'm staying 4 nights a week up there. I come in at 10 and stay till 7, and then I gotta work at the city. So,
You can be late to work.
got that 30 minutes there.
His wife asked me, could I work in those other nights?
Let me ask you a question before, close this off. It's my understanding that you're the only radio that you have that can talk back to the dispatch. It's in the fire truck. No one has it with them at any time. You have to go back and forth to the fire truck. Am I correct?
Yes, you're talking about radios?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. The city purchased 5 radios, portables, before the new system. We actually just went on to the new system
Last week.
last week. The county gave us 5 extra radios, and they are all on the county channel. So, as it is right now, when we leave the station, we're not able to communicate with our dispatch anymore, unless we call them on the phone. But we're gonna leave a portable up there so they can hear, and in case we need them, we can call them.
But the new base station will be here by next week.
Yeah, so you're wanting to go,
They're already ordered.
that's right.
They're already ordered.
So
And
that
then it'll be-
problem will be resolved once they get the base.
Well, they'll be able to talk the trucks, but you just brought up something that I'm not aware of, because we bought 5 new walkie-talkies, but are they not compatible with the new?
Yes, they are, and I just sent, Andre picked them up
Okay.
last week, and I got them back. The new ones that the county gave us, I got down at the warehouse right now, Sheila's got to get the numbers off of them and put city stickers on them, and I will be issuing those out. So we have 10 altogether.
Okay, so that will resolve that problem, that you will be able to speak with the officers here in Chattahoochee.
We will leave one portable as of right now up there so they can hear.
Y'all need help or something.
Yes, if we need help, they will have a portable until
The base station
the base
comes,
station comes.
and we hear any day, they'll be
So
just
then
like,
the base station will be just like a regular one that's always there.
just like it is now,
Okay.
yeah.
The
I don't want them off without some
You
Chattahoochee.
scared me, I thought the walkie-talkies were not compatible, but they just had to be programmed.
Yeah, every radio we have is programmed to the county, Gadsden County, Sheriff Department is a dispatcher. And we also, we have, a red, white, and a blue channel. So if we need to, we have our own channels that we can swap over, so we don't tie up the, dispatching channel.
Tell you what is clear, it's
It's
crystal.
real clear, they're working,
Crystal.
they're working great.
Because it's very important that they be safe when they're out there,
Yes, ma'am.
with all of the fires and everything that is going on right now.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
very important that they be, safe and able to make contact with someone rather than going back and one person going back and forth. That was my concern.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that base station is important because portables, they're not as strong as that base, because if you go certain dead areas, you're not gonna hear that, so that base station is very important.
We're actually in a good zone because they have they got, one at the hospital up here, and they got one, I think, right outside of town here. So
Highlight,
right in the
highlight
middle.
building.
Highlight building.
So we have the best service in the county,
Best
but we're off
service
of two
right here.
towers right here, we're bracketed.
And if something comes up you think we need, please talk to the city manager. I mean, we want y'all safe, we want y'all to have what y'all need.
Right now, I think that we're pretty good with equipment. We just need to get some more volunteers signed up. I know y'all are, giving us $20 a call. So that's probably gonna help a little bit. But, you know, it's just everywhere, nobody wants to do nothing. Nobody wants to do nothing.
Tell me about it.
Me and Chief's ready to call us.
Y'all ready?
I'm ready, man.
Gotcha.
I got my water hose from the house, if you run out of hose.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll do my best knowledge to try to keep
us posted.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Okay, the Rebuild Florida Hazard Mitigation Grants Program to fix the houses, I think we only have, according to the city clerk, 5 applications. Didn't get a lot as I'd hoped, so, but that will make, more money available for more extensive repairs on the ones we do have. The building official, is coming, she's trying to schedule that now to do the inspections on the 5 we have, and I guess then there would be a budget developed of the extent of the work, and we would know more about money-wise. But that is being scheduled. An independent licensed building official will come, go to each resident, and repairs needed and approved will be totally up to that person.
So the application deadline is complete, right? Or you still take the application?
No, I think we passed that.
Okay.
At the last meeting, Madam Mayor, I think this was one you were very interested in, and the chief, there was some discussion about possibly recruiting, just like the fire, recruiting some candidates, young folks that might want to go to school. The chief did a very good job of researching this, and
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
you could send one to the academy. It's $31.39. And then there's $150 state exam fee once they graduate their They take the
Before we
state.
go further, city manager, explain to them what the rest of the council, what me and, Chief talked about.
What this would be, we would try to recruit, the chief would, or if y'all knew of some people who, were interested in a career in law enforcement, and what this program, if you wanted to do this, pursue it, you would, have to, and other places have done this, and I know they do it in corrections a lot, but you would sign them up for the academy, and in return, when they completed their training, got their state certification, they would, whatever you decided, but it's kind of standard 2 years. Most
Right.
places I've heard about, they have to sign an agreement that they would come be a police officer here for 2 years. And our hope would be, is that we would have an individual that, liked where he came to work and learned how we do things, the way Chief does things here, and, you know, develop into a long-term employee. Will you get all of them to do that? No, you won't, but you just got some. It's just so hard to fill those positions now.
And there will be an interview process, the chief and others will interview the candidates.
Oh, yeah.
To make sure they will be a proper fit for the police.
And I did some further research. I went down to Career Source, and I reached out to one of the supervisors there, and she told me that a good way to I guess to save money for the city, because it's going to be roughly $5,000 to cover everything with that officer, and that's everything inclusive. Depending on if they're a basic recruit, meaning that if they don't have any prior experience, they'll go in, it'll be a little bit more for them. But if they're former corrections or anything like that, or probation, they won't have to take all of the courses, so it'll cut the cost. But if they do qualify for Career Source, and she advised me to send them, if we deem them right, a good candidate for the city, we can send them to a Career Source, and if they meet their standards, they will fund it, and they'll still be for us, but they'll pay for it. So they'll have their own independent interaction with Career Source, but they'll be our employee. So that's the way, we'll work it. But they do have some restrictions. You can't have college degrees. There's certain things you can't have. So they don't want you to be a rocket science. They want you, So but we may not need a rocket scientist, but so I mean, there's other methods that are available, and I think it's a good idea because I come into contact with a lot of people that are interested in getting into law enforcement, but they can't afford it, and that's the problem. And the people who are already certified, they're looking, the bigger paying agencies, so. But I think right now that's the best method, most creative manner to try to get more people here. So I think it's a good idea. And I've been talking to people. They say, hey, when y'all start sponsoring, get me on board. So I think this will be a good idea. I think it's worth it. And we probably get one person a year, depending on $5,000 a person, maybe one a year. But that's and if we can get Career Sources to get one, then that'll save us, and we might get two a year, depending on if they can, So that's the way I'm looking at it, and so that's all I have.
How many officers are you down?
Right now, we need at least 3 more to be full.
And if the city sponsor them, you're asking them to give you 2 years for the payback. If they fail to complete the 2 years, did you put it in that they would have to pay you your money back, or?
Yes, that'll be a part of the contract. We'll put together a contract for them to sign, and they'll be locked into that contract upon hire. That they have 2 years to fulfill whatever obligations that we put in the verbiage of the contract, and that would include you have to pass the state board. That's another issue. We can have the best interviewer in the world, but then they're bad test takers, and that state board, you only get 3 opportunities, and it's $100 a pop. So that's another fee that may not be in there. If they need assistance with paying for it, I'm gonna expect them to maybe cover that $100 fee. We'll pay the first one maybe, but if you pay it out of your own pocket, maybe you'll try a little harder on that test. That's the way I look at it. So
and the city will pay for their background and all of
yes,
that?
yes.
But I think it's, worth a try, number one. I will say about police officers, really, assigned, cause they're not most, if you ask kids in school what they wanna be, a lot of times it's police officers.
Especially when the police officer standing there.
And it's one of the most respected, one of the most respected things they do. And I think you would be good, you know, because number one, Chattahoochee is safe. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I can say since I've been here. Chattahoochee is a stable place to work. And so that's something that you as chief can tell. And you would be a good role model at doing that. So I see it as a great thing. I would at least try.
Well, I think we'll start off, looking at investigating this career source, because, you know, they're awash with federal monies right now for training and job training and all, and, maybe we do our first one that way, get our contracts in line, our paperwork, so we know how to do this, and then see how chief likes it, and go from there. But if we, do the career source one first, if they're paying the tuition and everything, I mean, I think we could proceed with that one very easily.
That way,
We already came up with innovative things, ideas as far as on the weekends or when they're out of school, they can do a ride along. So
Right.
they'll have those hours already out of the way.
Yeah.
Once they finish.
yep, and then when they get ready to start working, they can go right into taking calls and, you know, covering the shift.
Chief, I thank you for following through on that. When
Yes,
we
ma'am.
discussed it, I knew you were gonna do it,
Yes, ma'am.
but I thank you for bringing it back to this meeting because it just makes sense that sometimes you gotta fund these positions to get somebody in the position that's who's gonna stay in the position. So you gotta think outside of the box, and thank you for seeing the vision and thinking outside of the box.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
What
you.
about auxiliary? Somebody asked about auxiliary. Do we have auxiliary, please?
Not that I'm aware of.
No?
But it ain't really.
Now, when you get into auxiliary and things of that nature, it's still a liability as far as insurance, and there's a cost associated with that. You know, even though they're kind of volunteering, but there's still a responsibility that the city would have if they were to cause anything to happen, you know, that would be at an expense to the city. So it's always if I'm not mistaken, I think the League of Cities have a certain type of fee that may be associated with having.
Well, I'm sure, you have to put in the FDLA profiles and employ.
Yeah, we ran into that in Midway, and it was a nest egg that we didn't see coming, you know, and yeah. So
Was you with the county when they were doing the citizens on patrol? I know
Mhm.
Roy Barnes was one
Yes.
that county.
I was there at the time.
I think that's a great idea. Whatever we can do to get you some help.
Yeah, Citizens on Patrol. I will say this: I was bragging on Chattahoochee the other day because it's kind of like Citizens on Patrol. Really, the community is already in that role. That's what I like about Chattahoochee. It's kind of like the Andy Griffith Show, and you know how you're at the barbershop and what's the guy's name? I can't remember his name. And then you got everybody's like, I've never seen that car here before, you know. And Chattahoochee is like that, you know. They say, well, now that car passed by here 4 times, you know. Then my phone starts ringing, and then you know. And then they say, well, I'm following him. He's over here at the C-store right now, you know. And so, I mean, we already got community, citizens on patrol here. So, I mean, that's what I like about Chattahoochee. That's why the crime is not here. I mean, transit, you'll never see a transit hanging out more than 2 days because they say, hey, this guy need to go, you know. But I'm saying I worked in 3 other locations in Gaston County. It's not like that.
Tell them what you call this place.
Huh?
Maybe.
No, the hidden.
Oh, the best kept secret, man. This is the best kept secret. And once I got here, I mean, when you're not in Chattahoochee, you just all you know is the hospital, and you think of just crazy people. But then once you get here, it's like, man, you know, I should have been here 19 years ago when I started, you know. So, and it's real. And once the people that I've brought on since I've been here, you know, they had the same feelings that I had until they got here, and it's like, wow, you know. So, you know, if I can get them here, I can keep them. You know, if we can get them here, we can keep them.
I remember you when you was in Mill.
Yeah.
And I told you once you became the chief fiscal that you were like,
Yeah, you told me that. You told me that.
it's different from most cities, and I'm glad, you know, that we're able to always, city of Chattahoochee with the council, disagree, agree, but not get involved in the duties of the city. And that helps us a lot, and a lot of towns don't do that.
Good folks here. All right, well, we'll proceed with that. We'll start with career source. For this budgetary issue, we will bring it back for your approval to expend city funding.
Sounds great,
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your wonderful idea. All right, I mess around with numbers. I'm always looking at money and numbers and all that. Just a few quick interesting facts. Customers, electrical customers, in an 18-month period. So that was 18 months. This is from 20 to 21. We picked up 22 additional residential meters, customers, and then commercial area plus 4. There was 1 in 19. We've added 4, so a total of 5 on commercial accounts. So we're going the right way. You know, we're not losing accounts. We're creeping back the proper way. This one is the number of new business licenses issued that weren't renewals. There was a total of 12, but as you know, 3 of those have subsequently closed, but that's still a total of 9 new businesses that are here and doing good. And I try to stress everywhere I go that we need to support them. And I know y'all tell everybody the same thing, but people who don't own a business or run a business, I don't think sometimes they stop to think about how important it is that people support that business. And it's so easy to stop on the way to Quincy, parks out there, or wherever you go. And when some things you can find here in Chattahoochee, I know the folks that have invested their time and money in these businesses would really appreciate it. I also want to, which is budgeted, it's a budgeted position, you know, we've had for years, but things have been crazy with this COVID. You will see an advertisement for a recreation director. Well, I think it's time to start that process, to find the right person. If the numbers, keep our fingers crossed, but you see the numbers, the COVID numbers as I have, but we've been through this one time before. I got fooled one time before, but hopefully not this time. And then maybe if that continues, that trend continues, we'll be ready to go. So that's you'll when you see that and all, that's our plan. Second harvest got changed up for November and December. The November date is this Thursday, November the 4th. So I hope everybody hears that on Facebook, and we've put it out as well. But usually it's the 4th Thursday in the month or later in the month. But this month is November the 4th, which is this Thursday, and then in December it's December the 2nd. So those are changes. We hope everybody gets the word. Anybody who those groceries should help comes out.
And it helped that it was on, I was just news this morning about the second harvest.
So I hope everybody goes out, and there's usually pretty good turnout.
And we will take more volunteers on this.
Mr. Ken's always there, and Miss Ann's always there. They work very hard at that.
Chris, a line up there. Oh, wow.
Their name. Yeah, Ms. Williams, what's the health agency that's gonna have a table set up at this event?
It's gonna be the, health department. They're sending out a crew. They've been here before, and, they're sending out a crew on Thursday that will be talking with the different people as they come through to be served.
So there may be some,
And it's getting information and what they're looking for. There may be some people that you know or have in your home that is needing of assistance. And they're gonna give you that information as to who it is you to contact and that sort of thing.
Well, they did for some people.
Yes,
Don't know how the way did it.
right.
That's great.
so that's a plus. That'll be a good thing. I hope people take advantage of that if they can use those services. I'd like to give a shout out to Councilperson Glass for her efforts at the trunk or treat event up there. She worked very hard there for several weeks. putting that together, and, I know everybody had a good time. We, have the Christmas parade is scheduled for, which will be a nighttime parade starting at 5 p.m. on December the 5th. Pick to put some signs up, some banners, the 4th, my bad, I'm sorry, the 4th.
It's my birthday. They got some days.
Really?
It's my birthday.
Oh, we're having a great. So I think, that's gonna be bigger than the one we did in 19. You know, we weren't able to do it last year, but we had a very good one in 19. This one's going to be, bigger. I don't know if it'll be better, but it's gonna be bigger. And it will be nighttime with all the lights and all, so I think it's really gonna be a special event. I hope it's not snowing.
So we'll, like last time we went to the hospital grounds, what will we do, like, will the route change, would you?
Yes, we're gonna have to change the route. They're going to participate. They're building a float. The administrator is gonna have their decorations up, and they're actually building a float. They may have something very nice, entry, but they just could not, with the short staff and it being night parade, they just couldn't accommodate the, hospital route this go around. Couldn't do it, and we understand that.
Yeah.
We understand that. A lot of concerns there. Today, I was asked to be a speaker, guest speaker at the Rotary Club in Quincy. They were very interested in things that are going on in Chattahoochee. The council has done here, the accomplishments, and I was very, very good. Especially some of the guys I knew hadn't seen in a while, you know, several years, but they were very interested. If you haven't heard, your city seems to be the talk of the town, you know, all over this county and elsewhere. And I gave a speech on the grants and the projects and things you've done and improvements in infrastructure and so forth. And, they were very excited about that, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, maybe we can quit being the shove off, you know, maybe they'll start helping us a little more. Forget about us up here in Chattahoochee a lot.
They're watching. They're watching. This Friday and Saturday, you've seen the decorations going up. It's a little earlier than you've seen in the past. We ain't eaten no turkey yet, but as you know, again, going back to what I said earlier, these people who are opening these shops and all want to do this to beat Black Friday and some other events that are going on, and it is the city's part to participate in supporting our small business. It's a 2-day, Friday and Saturday. What is the name? Hey, do you remember what it's got a name?
Christmas extravaganza, ain't it?
Shopping, Christmas
Chattahoochee.
shopping extravaganza, but they will be open. They will stay open extended hours. They have done this, you know, several times in the past 2-3 months. Each time has been successful for sales. So these things work for those shops. So we want to try to support them, or I do when I can. And
They put the big dogs uptown, some of them are decorating up real nice.
well, I know I worked my butt off on my. She's up there. It'll be lit up tonight. The one me and the wife are doing. I think everybody will like it. From the Reynolds building.
And that's gonna be this Thursday, Friday?
Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday.
There's the council wanted to close this part of Jefferson Street and the other part of about last month, so they could have vendors possibly out there.
And there are some windows and storefronts still available.
We're talking about, decorations, are they putting them up Lincoln Drive and out there the south side at this time also?
We can. These are mighty early, but we had to have them for this weekend. But whenever we can go ahead and do it early if you want to.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, typically what they.
If we gonna do Main Street, we gonna do Lincoln Drive, like, we gonna carry it through
Okay.
the city.
They will be up. You know, we have the additional lights for down there, so there'll be a few more. And
So you want them up early too?
Yes.
Okay, well, I was just gonna try, put them up like normal time like we did every year, the Monday after Thanksgiving, but if you want them up early, we'll get them up early.
Yes.
there's also
Maybe stand through town.
Main Street's having on December the 11th, movie night.
Yeah.
And I'm approved for them to set up out here. There won't be like a final Friday. So I'm not sure, how many kids might be interested in that but that's something new, a new event going on in town. So we'll see how that goes, but, there'll be more out there on Facebook about it. That's December the 11th.
Do you know what the name of the movie they're gonna be showing?
I do not.
This is something Christmas related. I've seen a post about it. That it'll be something like family oriented Christmas movie. The name of this is Chattahoochee's Christmas Extravaganza, Light Up Chattahoochee.
There you go. Christmas, light up Chattahoochee. I hope we get it lit up. I've done my part. Also, while we're on the main street, and they will have, their annual, as part of the Christmas celebration, Thanksgiving weekend on the Saturday in the park, on Main Street, will have their event with the, I guess, for the kids and Santa Claus. But,
What day is that?
you might know what, it's Saturday after the Thanksgiving.
That'll be a Christmas party. Saturday after Christmas.
No, this is after Thanksgiving weekend. They're gonna do something in the park, Heritage Park. Gotta be prior to our parade.
Okay, that is December 4th. 25th Thanksgiving, the 3rd.
Okay, Thanksgiving is the 25th and the
Yeah.
So it'll be the
26th.
27th.
So it'll be the
That's
27th and the 20th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Saturday.
Directly after, okay.
That's what it typically do, but I'm sure they already have it out, but we usually try to share and get the word out on that. So there's a lot going on. Speaking of them, we received a letter, the mayor did, from the Secretary of State, Laura Lee, recognizing Main Street as the Main Street of the month in October, program of the month. Florida Main Street Program of the Month in October, so I'm sure they were glad to get that designation. Absolutely, and be glad to answer any questions you have, that's all I have.
I don't have any items. I saw that, all right.
All right, then, we're gonna move right along to Councilmember Henry.
Will we go first? Robert, do you have any reports on the progress on the health building and the south side building? Are we still working on the health building on?
They're complete. The county is doing some landscaping. The part that was bid out with the contractor is complete. I haven't heard a date yet. I'm sure they're gonna probably have a ribbon cutting or something, a rededication. I would think they would, but I have not seen the date yet.
Is it still being used? Is it still gonna be used as a, somebody gonna rent it at one time?
They're gonna put a medical provider in there, but now the board voted that our seniors still use the designated space. The Board of County Commissioners did vote, that was included in the motion. That was a year ago. But on the south side, that looks pretty good. We just had to provide more information. We made the first cut, so now it's getting serious. And they asked for a bunch more information. We provided that information. So, I feel good about that. You never know with those, but sometimes you feel good by what they ask you.
If a person wants to report a abandoned vehicle, instead of calling their local councilman, who would be the person that they need to talk to about that?
If it was suspicious or anything, I would recommend calling the police department, but if it's just an abandoned one that's on blocks
No,
or
maybe I
something,
should have said that way, non-titled in the front yard.
they should call down to the warehouse to our code compliance officer, who is Cindy. And that number, of course, is 663-4475.
I don't know what everybody else thinks about this, but you said something last time about that meeting you were in, that they were interested in the municipalities going green and having electric vehicles by 2040 or whatever. Art, have you done any checking into a charging station for that we might?
What I'm hoping, they're getting very close now in Washington.
Did you see in Marietta how many they got? Out there at the interstate behind Vicky's, that
Yeah,
parking
they
lot?
got like 10.
Yeah, there's like 10.
Close to the interstate out there, yeah, it makes good sense. But first it was $3 trillion, $3.5 trillion, they're down now to like 1.75. But a large part of that is for infrastructure. And then there's a separate bill, $1 trillion bill for transportation infrastructure. My thoughts are somewhere in there, because green energy is a big part of it. Somewhere in there, I think it'll be something similar to maybe the Recovery Act, we may get funds to do something green. I don't know that, but the amounts of money they're up there talking about, something's gonna fall out of somebody's pocket, Chattanooga somewhere.
That sounds good. When the new recreation director gets in place, it's cooling off a lot, and I've noticed that a lot of people are starting to walk around town, sidewalks, all that. Would it be possible that we could, with some of our areas, I was thinking about the track out of the ball field, since the rec directors kind of, from not having football, could dress that up so if someone wanted to go out there and walk, that it would be it's a metered quarter-mile track.
Sure we could.
Get it cleaned up for that. And there's on Bonita and North Pine Avenue, there's a big old log jam on the west side of the road where they cleaned that lot off.
Bonita and,
Pine Avenue.
okay,
It'll make a good fire for somebody.
that time of year.
That time of year. That's all I got.
That's it. Coming into Chattahoochee here on, 9th, just as you come across the bridge, I see where you all sprayed it, and you did mention it once that you were gonna have them to spray those vines and things that was growing there.
The state, the Florida Department of Transportation, that they maintain that, we don't maintain that.
Okay, is it any way possible that you can make contact with, because if you notice, there's a lot of trash
Mhm.
in that area. Is it any way possible that you can, because that doesn't look good coming into the city, because it's on both sides of the street. It really looks bad.
Well, you know, the sidewalk that was down by River, the store, remember how long it was broke? And I'm really shocked, because DOT is they're very self-conscious about hazards. People, you know, especially sidewalks, things like that, but they let that one, now they said they had to order something, but, you know, they let that one sit there for 5 months, and I'm shocked, but
And you can,
we will pass that along, and if we have to, we can send, you know, even though it's not our responsibility, we can send an inmate crew to pick paper up. That wouldn't take very long.
coming, just as you come across the bridge, if you look to your right and to your left, you see all of that. It really just does not look good. Also on, Zion Street, coming up to Martin Luther King, and I think it's near the Peterson's house, a tree has fallen. And it's right there in the drainage area. Can you get the city?
It's in the drainage of, Zion, or?
Yeah, on Zion Street.
Okay.
Yeah, right there near the Petersons, on the opposite side of the street. A tree has fallen, and we got out and moved all of the debris out of the roadway so cars can go by. But it's the tree trunk is laying there in the drainage area.
That's no problem,
Okay.
no problem.
And I like to, because I have worked the city manager quite a bit this month, but I thank you for helping me with the second harvest, trying to get that straightened out. I didn't think that we were gonna be able to be served in the month of November and December due to the fact that those are the months that they usually take off to do their little vacation thing, but they called me before we had our meeting and requested to come to Chattahoochee. I think that says a lot, because they were talking about the volunteers, and I like to thank every volunteer, including the city, that come out to assist us, to serve the people in Chattahoochee and the surrounding area. We also have a lot of sick and shut-in people that cannot get out. If you will let someone know, we will be more than happy to serve you as well, because we want everybody to be taken care of. It's getting to be the holidays. Things have gone up so much. We no longer have our grocery store here that I'm disappointed about. So if you are in need and feel that we can help you, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to serve you, because we do have city manager for making that possible. And I'd like to thank the chief of police for the work that you're doing and your workers that they're doing as well. Thank you so very much. And I'd like to thank the principal who came in tonight for allowing different ones in the city to come and work with you all to make your Halloween celebration a great success. Thank you so very much because you open up your arms and the doors to allow us to come in to serve the kids. Thank you.
How many people we served, how many families we served last?
We served over 300 families.
It's a bunch. There's a bunch of folks.
Last time we served over 300 families. That's the least I was doing the count. And I like to thank every one of the volunteers, especially those that work with the Main Street area, because they're so helpful in making sure that everything runs very, very smooth and getting things out. I like to give them a shout out and tell them thank you.
Councilman Moultrie.
I know we mentioned the, rec department. I hope that we can next time make sure that we get the football going. I know, with COVID, what we talked about and why some of the reasons that we might have lost some of our football players, but from what I can tell, a lot of them just went to different areas and playing. The football team that we have has always been a highlight of change. The Pee Wee and kind of, but they have always been winners too. And I think that's something that help the community, help the kids. We need to make sure that we secure the director and we make sure that we get this football team back going. Now, of course, we can look into other things, but I don't want to see another year where that football team is not going. So that's been a highlight for Chattahoochee for years. I know there's always been mention about what they pay, stuff like that. Businesses that have always stepped up. Rock Derrick said it, but they always paid for kids to play football. So, the businesses will make a commitment. But we got to understand that sometimes people don't have, so we got to be somewhat lenient. I know we're in business, but, because the city is a business, you got to worry about different things, but we don't need to let the kids lack. Whatever we can do to try to help our cause, that's important. You never know what you might do to help a child. But that rec department, we need to step up on. And I done checked into a couple different places that got football leagues like it's normal that kids ride vans and buses and stuff like that. That's normal. It's not something that Chattahoochee is the only place been doing it. If something come up in the future about COVID, make them just like hotels and everything else, make parents sign, release. But let's not stop our rec department. Let's do something to try to continue to help them kids have something to do. And like I say, they're everywhere else now. And if we talking about worried about COVID, the bus is running, we're doing everything else. Football stadiums are full. So in the city of Chattahoochee, let's make sure that we got our rec department going. That's important. Also, Mr. Melanie, we need to keep an eye out on this soul kind of thing because there's a lot of people going around and it may be talking to a lot of older people and confusing them about.
They are.
So this and the ones that have been to the League of Cities, I know this has come up, and I figured it was going to come up here in Chattahoochee, and it has. So we need to make sure that we get a good understanding for the people. about these solar panels, so people don't get trapped in these long-term contracts, and at no benefit. And I kinda spoke with one just to try to get an understanding of it, and they don't know, you know, people don't understand that they're really not saving anything based off what a lot of the, you know, I hate to call it a scam, but that's what it seems like. So what we need to do is try to protect our community, and if we need to put some, you know, paperwork out, or make sure that, you know, they got a good understanding before they sign this, thinking that, you know, city gonna give you a whole bunch of money at the end of the year, cause that's what the guy told me before he knew I was city council. And his pitch was, yeah, don't worry about paying double, cause the city gonna give you some money at the end of the year, they got the rebate. So that's not the case. So we need to make sure that we're very careful with this, you know, these signs popping up with solar panels, cause it's not what it's made out to be. Mention the sign, you know, that's very important that we, work with that elementary school. Our school board member and our principal is doing all they can to try to work with the city. We always talk about that elementary school. And I also believe that the businesses will step up in that sense too. And we're not just depending on the city, but when we have an opportunity to help, I think we should. And I don't know if anybody else has, and we've been trying to get the businesses to step up and help out with the sign. I know Crawford and Motion stepped up and put $1,000 up for the sign. So we're not just asking the city to do it. As a citizen and as businesses, we're trying to get people to help out with that school because it's important, you know. If that school is successful, it also makes Chattahoochee successful. You know, we don't need to not have that school. There's been talk for years on the board with some of the people on the board about closing that school. Our school board member has been sticking his neck out, trying to make sure, no matter what, that school is there. And he's asking for partnership with the city of Chattahoochee. I think it's important. I think we need to make sure that we try to help with that sign to show, you know, our appreciation for what they're trying to do. They're doing everything they can. You know, our school board member stuck his neck out, fighting hard for us to try to get that south side built. You know, because he cares about Chattahoochee. All I'm asking, these council members, understand just how important that school is to us. And I'm not just saying it just to say, okay, the city just give out money. I'm willing to take my money from my business to try to help as a citizen. And I'm hoping some of the other ones that I have asked have stepped up so that it's not just the city of Chattahoochee, but the businesses that stay there to try to help keep that school there. That's it.
Councilmember Ball?
We all about hit on everything I had to say. The only thing is, like, when you're coming in from Quincy to Chattahoochee, our welcome sign, you can't really see it. I don't know, we need to do something different, because you can't see that you're coming in town.
I noticed the other day he's trimming around, are you referring to lighting?
Lighting and trimming.
Yeah, the trimming.
And I really would like us to try to find a green or something, to do a little more at
more-
both ends.
A little more pull.
Yeah, a little bit of zazz. I mean, because I just think they're kind of blah. And then I want one when we're coming in from off the interstate, that little bitty wood sign. I mean, that's not inviting on it. I mean, a lot of people come from the interstate every day from work from Tallahassee, or those campers come in, and that's just a blah. I mean, it's just got one little white sign, welcome Chattahoochee.
I noticed the weeds out here the other day get cut, and I made a work order, but the lighting, I have to refer to Sammy to take a look at that. Maybe we have to do LED or add some.
Because I was coming back from Quincy the other night, and I knew it's there because I know it's there, but if I didn't know it was there, nobody would know it was there. So that,
Check it out.
the trunk or treat, I got some people I got on the thing. I appreciate we had over 450 children, I know. Everybody enjoyed it, and the kids and the parents, were some of the most respectful and appreciative I've ever been around. It was a wonderful, it made my day. I don't want to forget nobody, but I've tried. I went down lines thinking the Masonic Lodge, Chattahoochee Women's Club, Martin Luther King Incorporated, Kim Bradley, Miriam Linder, Rose Merritt, the Lions Club, Miranda Wilson, Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration, New Zion Baptist Church, Grace Baptist Church, First Baptist Church, Calvary Baptist Church, Bleachers, Brittany Moffitt, Divine Connections, Naima Miller, Chief Mordecai, he's always out there with the kids, he loves them, they love him. Tony McDaniel for the fire department, Sheila and Andy Blunt, Nikki McFall, Melanie Johnson, Dave Pippin, Jackie Regalado, Maria Nichols, Misty Enfield, the city of Chattahoochee, and then Ann Williams and Jill Williams and Eric Taylor and Francis Brown all donated towards it. Some of these people I've never known in my life, they contacted me. Can I help with that? Can I help y'all in Chattahoochee? What's the next thing y'all need? Let me know. So I appreciate it. It was a success, and the children were happy, the kids was happy. I just wanted to grow bigger. I wanted to grow like when I was a child, have that whole field full, where everybody can just go. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. And that's it.
Thank you. I'll be remiss if I said our principal wanted to say anything tonight.
Good evening. No, thank you. I don't have, the only thing I want to say is thank you all so much for considering partnering with us for the sign. I think it'll be an excellent benefit both for the school and the community, and I'm looking forward to having you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You got cash out?
Y'all make us say one more, Chief. Chief, I thank you for getting right on it. We had a discussion, thinking outside of the box. We had a discussion about how to get people who want to work and be police officers. I asked you to get a quote. You got right on it. I was surprised because I didn't think you was coming back that fast with it.
Yeah, I need the help.
But it shows that that's what you want, and you want the city to grow because you want to step further. And looking at career source, you look outside of the perimeters to find money to help our city grow and help us have competent police officers. And I do thank you for that, because that shows that you are the person for the job that you have, because you want to see the city grow. You want the city to be safe.
Yeah.
And it just took a little thinking outside the box for you to make it grow. So I really do appreciate you thinking outside of the box and getting it done. Mr. President, make sure you get with the chief and career source, and let's get this property.
Don't drop the ball, man.
We got money, so we down 3 police officers. Then chief can go home and rest all night. I know you work overtime, chief, and I do thanks for that.
I didn't know if y'all realized that.
I do. I know that he's out there working, like, so his office will be off. He'll go out there and work, so they can be off.
And do dispatch.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I do realize that what a gym we have, and that's why I want to give him some help. I thank all the citizens for coming out. I'd like to send a special thank you to Mr. Curtis Brown. He don't know I'm saying it, but he goes in Flint Garden and he works with the kids and he talks to the kids. He motivates those children to do things. And that's what we need from our citizens, is our children are not our future, our children are now. And we need our citizens to get out there and motivate the kids to do things. Who knows, they may be our next police chief. So we have to motivate our kids. And I thank you, Ms. Ford, awesome principal, for coming in there and getting to work. And you have gotten to work with the kids. Thanks for everybody who volunteer with the kids, coming to the school, and everything you do in Chattahoochee for the kids, because they are important. I'm a product of Gadsden County school system. We have bright, intelligent kids in Chattahoochee. And I want to see them grow and become doctors, lawyers, whatever they want to be, because they can be whatever they want to be. We don't have to go here or there for our kids to get a great education. We can get an education right here in Chattahoochee. And I just want to see our children come back to Chattahoochee and make the school grow. We want the school successful, then we got to put in too. We got to bring our kids those of us can bring our kids back to Chattahoochee so that we can keep the numbers up and we can keep our school open. It takes all of us to do this. So I just thank everybody. If there's nothing else, meeting adjourned.